welcome back to Behind the Joystick. In this episode, Ed and I from Boss Rush Network are joined by Megan Everett from Digital Extremes, the community director behind Warframe. We get more into a deep dive of Warframe, building a strong relationship with players, and what it takes to support one of the game's most passionate communities. So sit back, and we hope you enjoy.
Megan. I'm currently the community director at Warframe, or on Warframe at Digital Extremes, and I have been a gamer my whole life. I've covered in Zelda tattoos,
Yes.
so I do have a favorite game, game franchise, but I've lived in London my whole life, which is where Digital Extremes is from. I actually never knew Digital Extremes was there until I met Rebecca, and she got me into it. But yeah, I was always just growing up, just a little nerd, always having to share a save file with my sister, which I hated. But we always had fun with it. And it was my dad that got us involved with video games. Like I was more of a sports girl, like that kind of thing. My sister was like an artist, and then we got into video games, and I was in the basement, the classic basement gamer, playing. Yeah, we got our first computer. I remember being on the internet, which I probably shouldn't have at that age, but you know, taught me some valuable lessons. But a normal day for me is just work and the relaxing video games after, and just trying to keep the game alive.
Right, no, for sure.
Yeah.
In the beginning of all this, is there any job field you did before Digital Extreme, or this was something you did right after college?
So it was right after college. I went to college for business marketing. So I graduated from that, and then the same year that I graduated from that, I met Rebecca and basically became friends. And I remember it was the summertime, so you're going out, you're having fun with the girls, and we would invite her, and she would, oh no, I have to go to Germany for work. I'm like, what do you do? I don't understand.
Yeah.
And then she realized I was also a nerd, and then she reached out to me. I don't have Facebook, but I probably would still have the message of her reaching out on Facebook, asking me, hey, I work at Digital Extremes, as you know, and the game's really taking off, and I need some help, because it was only her on community. There was no one else, and she was like, I think you'd be a great fit. Do you want to interview? And I was like, yes, please, Lord, yes, I'm there. Had my interview, got hired, got the call the same day, started the next day. Well, it wasn't the next, started a week later, so it was August 2013 that I started. So the same year I graduated, kind of had a summer to figure my life out, met Reb, and then here I am.
Yeah, so you've been at this the whole time.
13 years.
That's awesome.
It's the only game I've ever worked on, and I don't want to be anywhere else.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I know, listening to the panel and the interviews from last year, you and Rebecca pretty much was trying to help Warframe themselves, try to bring it back up, because it was in a dark era and a dark time. So how would you explain, or I guess how would you direct or tell the story of how that happened? How were you able to bring it back up?
I think Warframe, just over its 13-year history now, it's definitely gone up and down. There's always that 2016 content drought comment that gets brought up. Obviously, COVID was just insane for us, and there were some updates throughout our history that didn't perform as well as obviously we'd hope. But through all that, the players still stuck around, and I think if I were to tell the story of how that happened, I have no idea. I don't know why people stuck around after some of the bumpy updates we did, but I think they knew we would make it right, and we would try a different path. And I think credit to where the team has taken the game now, and it was especially scary when we did the team split of the Soulframe and the Warframe team. That was the community could be like, you know what, I'm not on board with this. That's not the Warframe I grew up with, or something, and they could choose to leave, and that's totally valid. So there was a lot of pressure on the new squad to lift up and take what Steve Sinclair and Jeff and Scott had created and continue its legacy and continue the story where they'd been telling it for years at that point. And that was obviously a lot of pressure, and we were doing it behind the scenes kind of in secret for a bit for the beginning of the year, because it's this doesn't work, then we're just going to not do it and go back to normal. But I think Reb coming from community and then going up to creative director, I think plays a huge part in how serious we take community with what we do. Like she knows this game more than anyone. Like the girl is a walking wiki of Warframe, and it's incredible. She's so passionate about this game, and I know she would do anything for its success. So
I think she just said the magical word passion,
Yeah.
because gamers, they see the passion in games, and they see when a developer is supporting the content, supporting their game,
Yeah.
whether it's good or bad, you guys didn't give up.
Right.
And with the feedback from the community, that allows the game to get better
Mm-hmm.
and everything. So definitely with Warframe, I've been watching it on like E3s and everything, and I've been seeing people being excited for what's to come. When you guys announced it for Switch, the community for Nintendo went crazy because they weren't getting games like this. They weren't
Right.
getting their support. So to now see that the game released for Switch 2, like how did you guys feel when that happened? And I know it just got released, but how did you guys feel? Were you like excited? Were you kind of like anxious or nervous?
Yeah.
When that happened?
Yeah. I think like knowing the amount of work that goes into putting a game on a platform is very daunting, but I think Steve actually said recently, like, we want to be on every platform, and like we're gonna try. Like we did Android this year, and we did iOS recently, and it's like, where else can we go? Like what can we do? And obviously, there is only a certain amount of bandwidth our team has to do things, but it helped that Warframe was already on the Nintendo Switch, so we're able to just take that and be able to put it on the new hardware and work with what we have there and make it work on Nintendo Switch 2 in that kind of capacity. But it is very scary because, at the end of the day, you do have to look at the numbers of like, is it as successful as we hoped it would be on this platform? If not, why not? And it really is up to the players to let us know what is and what isn't working, especially with like iOS and stuff like that. They can come to our forums and all that, but there's the store that they can put their reviews on. They give us 2 stars. We're like, oh, there's 2 stars. Like, what do we do? And we and again, community team goes in and they dissect it all and they collect it and they give it to dev. And like, okay, this is what we're seeing. And luckily we can also look at the data itself and see exactly where a person is struggling within the game. If they are playing a quest and they dip out, we're like, oh, okay, there's something wrong there. Maybe it's something to do with the platform and the controls or something. So we really take that very seriously and dissect that. So luckily we have those tools, and I think we're obviously super proud to be on as many platforms as we are, and having Warframe work on a Switch is actually just like always mind-blowing. If we're on a phone, I'm like, what do you mean? Like 13-year-old game with all that content and all these tile sets and space and all that, and you're like, it can work on my phone. Like it's actually very impressive, and I'm very proud of the team, but very daunting, very scary, because if it flops, and that's embarrassing, and how do you stop supporting a platform? Like that's an awkward bridge to cross. So we pushed ourselves very hard to make it as successful as it can and have a good first impression when it does launch, because that can be like a killer. If you launch something and its first impression is it crashes, it's buggy, like you're probably doomed.
Have y'all ended up experiencing that? Or?
We've definitely had our fair share of when things get into the hands of players. Obviously they find things that we just didn't, because when you give it to 1 million people, they're going to find stuff that your 100-person QA team can't find, and that's inevitable. So there have been those experiences for sure, but I think people know us by now that we're very reactive to those, and we're just constantly locked in to those forums or those review sites, and we're seeing exactly what they're saying, and we're trying to fix it as fast as we can. Obviously there's sometimes it's code and it has to go to cert, and we'll be transparent about that. We're like, we're so sorry that this is broken, but we're gonna get it fixed in our next cert or whatever it is. So we try our best to give as much transparency to the players so they understand how we operate, or else they'll just be left in the dark and be like, I don't know if this is ever going to get fixed, because they're not talking to me about it.
And I do appreciate that you guys have set your own lane. You're not trying to be like Destiny or any other online shooter. You guys have your own thing, and I think that's what players love. There's no comparison to Warframe, and that's one of the best things about this game. And about the community, that we can't call this a Destiny clone, we can't call this game clone. it is its own thing.
Yeah, and I think, like, again, being 13 years old, we got really lucky in 2013 with just how everything happened. Like, as you know, we just, like, put everything into Warframe, and it was either going to save the company or not, and we took that risk, but every dollar we had into the game, and luckily the community bought the Founders Pack, and they kept our lights on, and then they kept playing and kept talking to us. So I think we owe it all to them, and that's why we do dev streams, that's why we do panels, that's why we are able to travel the world and put on little parties for them, and like, because not everyone can come to London, Ontario, that much I understand. So, you know, we'll go to Japan, we're going to Brazil this year for the first time, we have a huge player base in Brazil, so that's going to be amazing. But yeah, it's the community has built this game with us, so we have to give it right back to them.
Now, a personal question, because I know we're almost cut on time.
That's okay.
For people that are like wanting to jump into the gaming space,
Yeah.
like, mainly like people's thought process are, I want to be a pro player, but they don't realize that there's community management, a PR team, a way to, even developers, like,
Yeah.
they don't know that they can do that. Is there like advice that you would give them? Because it is a string of luck to run into someone like Rebecca.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then be hooked, for
Yeah.
13 years.
Yeah.
But like, if there's a piece of advice you could give someone that wants to be in this space for a living, pretty much, what would that advice be for them?
Yeah, I know for me, my example is obviously weird, but I did have a little bit of just my own personal kind of dabblings into video game sub-forums. I was into the Zelda sub-forums, I would dabble in that, so while it wasn't like, I wasn't putting it on my resume, I was able to kind of use that as like, I understand how, the forums operates and what that kind of looks like, and that was, a good thing in my advantage. But we have a lot of the people on our community team come from a very specific program that we have in London, Ontario. It's like the MIT program, and while it's not video game related directly, it covers a lot of the skills that I would look at if I'm looking at someone's resume for, let's say, an entry-level community position, right? Like having someone who, is confident in their writing and is really good at crisis management, or is really good at, just like communicating, adaptability on the fly, especially for a game like Warframe. Obviously, I know not every game is like us, but we are constantly moving and, onto one. Like, someone's done, we're on to the next thing. Like, we're already making stuff for next year, and like, so who's working on that? And so it's like, having something to show that like you're adaptable and like those kinds of things. So I know not everyone can, afford schooling or going to college. So I think if you can find things organically that relate to the community job itself, a lot of that is forums or, participating in the video game world in some sort of way. Maybe you helped. Because even Warframe, we have volunteers that moderate, or they do help streams and stuff. So there's also volunteer stuff you can do with video game companies that isn't necessarily you're in, but you can use that as a way to be like, I have experience, and I can kind of use that to go somewhere.
Right. That's awesome. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Do you have I can sit for a couple more if you want a couple more questions.
What is your go-to snack?
My go-to snack?
What is your go-to snack while working and maybe it's time for relax? You had a successful week or you had a busy week. You're at home. There's a snack that's just waiting, calling your name. What is that go-to snack? Or do you have a new snack that we don't know about that you would like to recommend?
Oh. Okay, I'm not much of a snacker. I'm more of like a good hearty meal kind of girl.
That works too.
And I've recently just become obsessed with like South Korean culture and food.
Yes.
And I jokingly there's at home I've tried to order like the like trays, like the individual, like very Korean style. You have like the trays that you put like your food in it. But I ordered one and it looks like a prison tray. Anyways, so I'm like, it's time for my prison meal, and I will make like bulgogi almost every single day, and I just love a good rice beef mixture. I eat way too much soy sauce and sesame oil and all that, sesame seeds. Like, I don't know, that's my phase of life. I will say I hyper fixate on meals, and my other hyperfixation is not Korean related at all, but it's just like a yogurt granola bowl. I know that sounds so boring, but like I kid you not, every single morning I have yogurt and granola. It's very specific and it just like makes me so happy.
I gotta ask, what yogurt?
It is a coconut Greek yogurt from the Oikos brand.
Ooh, okay.
So that, and then, oh my god, okay, wait. I'm very specific about my granola as well because I hate really hard granola. It hurts my teeth.
Yes.
But I want the chunks. So I have to find a soft granola that still can hold its chunk. And there's one, and I'm blanking on the name of it. I'll try and remember. But it's also a coconut cashew butter granola, and it's soft, but it's chunks. You put that with the coconut yogurt, cinema. It's
Okay,
incredible.
you know what I'm going to have to look for.
Every morning.
Because I have not seen coconut yogurt, and that's a flavor I would love to try.
And it's all like, I'm also a little bit picky with like consistency, so I don't like the yogurt with like the fruit bottoms or like anything in it. This one's like blended, so it's just like smooth. Tomorrow I'm gonna have some when I get home. It's gonna be so great.
That's awesome. Now,
Just a quick question. I'm doing a project called The Beauty of Video Games.
Okay.
Personal interest, and it's about games or even media that means something to you personally, and you find the beauty in it that others don't find. Is there a particular item or a game, a film, or anything that you personally find beautiful, comfort, it impacts you that others might not get or even know about?
I think there's different routes I could take because a lot of my gaming experience is based off of like memories and feelings. Like the first video game that I experienced that kind of triggered that in my brain was Ocarina of Time, and that was like, again, child of divorced parents. I go to my dad's on the weekend, and me and my sister, and he had an N64, and like, oh my god, we finally get to play the N64, and we boot up Ocarina of Time. My sister and I have a save file, and we have to share it, and share the controller. But that was like my first, like, oh, this world is cool, and I was able to kind of immerse in that and not have to think about anything else. And then got really into Pokemon, but again, that was like just a memory of my sister and I, because we're 14 months apart, so we're really close in age, and back in the day, well, even still now, Pokemon games come out, it's like there's Black and White, there's Ruby Sapphire, so we'd always get the opposite one, and we would always trade each other the Pokemon we didn't have. So it really comes down to just the feelings of like, that's nostalgic for me. And I would say this one probably not necessarily people don't feel, because I think you're meant to feel this in a game, but I played a game called Neva.
Never.
Yes.
Nomada Studios.
Yes.
Okay, I love you so much. Not only does it give spiritual way kind of vibes, the beauty and the music in that game. I've been wanting to interview them so bad. I cannot get a response. Because Greed's one of my favorites.
Yes.
We have a show called Talk the Walk where we actually talked about grief and dealing with the grief and how the colors play so much. And then Never came, and I was just like, this is a whole new story. And once again, tell a story without using words, but visualization.
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah, it is so gorgeous. And I also played Grease, and I was like, this is the game of the year. Like, it was so beautiful. And I at that point in my life had never really played a game like that. I was more into the Zeldas and the sci-fi looter shooters, right? Like, that was more my speed. So yeah, played that, and I was like, this is breathtaking. And then Neva came out, and again, this was more of my time in my life, but my dog had just been diagnosed with cancer, and so playing that game and like what she experiences with the dog, I was like, I probably shouldn't be playing this. Like, this is a bad time, but it was kind of healing in a way. Like, it was a beautiful story, and I look at my dog sitting there, I'm like, look at that, like, that's beautiful. So no, that was. I remember that being a very special time for me to play that, and I kind of needed it, even though it was like I was sobbing, obviously, but it was like I kind of needed that. Yeah, and that's what video games should do, right? Like, they should make you feel something.
It's funny, I found Greed through Facebook. Just a trailer on Facebook. It had never been mentioned nowhere. Seen it on Facebook, game came out. It was my game of the year.
Yeah.
And then I seen the trailer on Never on the State of Play.
Yes.
I knew this.
Yeah. I'm like, oh my god, Nomad Studios is back. Like, I'm so excited. Yeah, it's a great game.
Good. I'm in awe. I'm so glad to just sit here with you.
No,
So-
thank you for those questions.
Yeah.
They were very fun. I
Good.
appreciate those.
Awesome.
Yeah.
For people who want to find you anywhere and bug you want to drop the...
I'll drop my socials now.
Yes.
I'm mostly I'm on X, I guess we call it X nowadays. I call it Twitter. I hate calling it X. I'm on Twitter. I'm at MOITOI. It's a long story. And I am on Instagram as well at Everett. You can find me there. You can see pictures of my dog. That's usually where they posted. X is usually I retweet a lot of Warframe fan art over there because it's just a beautiful place. So that's where you can find me. And online on Warframe. Always.
Awesome.
And everybody, please go check out Warframe on Nintendo Switch 2.
Look at
it
it.
is released. It is beautiful. We're seeing it right now. It's gorgeous in motion. If you not have downloaded, what are you doing?
It's free.
It's free.
It's free.
And then you guys can support them also by purchasing some of their packs and everything. Show this team some love. 13 years for an online game like this is historic because you don't see that nowadays.
Yeah. It's tough. It's tough out there. It's
It
tough.
is, yeah.
Hopefully 13 more years.
Yes. Awesome. Cool. And then I guess we'll see you guys on Friday.
Bye, everybody.